Hey, it's Joey Salvia. While Gregg and Bobby Littlefoot get set up for our guest today, funny man Mark Norman, let's go to 888-505-OPIE.
Opie! First time, long time. I'm calling all the way from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. Look it up. It's a real fucking place. Anyways, Opie and Carl, keep up the good work. Love you, miss you. Oh, yeah. Joey, we love you too up here, you fucking creep.
Spot on. Hey, I once stalked a girl in a lower Manhattan bar. Followed her without her noticing me. Not too hard to do, being 5'8", even though my aura is way bigger. So I waited for her to come out, and in my creepy, passive-aggressive manner, pretended to bump into her as she came out of the ladies' room. And in creepy serial predator-like fashion, I was on the prowl alone that evening. I looked her right in the eyes and said, "My God, you're beautiful." Well, she smiled. I have no idea what I said after that, but I took her home that night, and we'll be celebrating our 11th wedding anniversary this April. I didn't get your name, so yeah, fuckface. Creepy works for me. Thanks for the call.
We find ourselves at the Westwood One Studios in the heart of Times Square. It's time once again for the OpieRadio Podcast. Ooh!
You're a little hot. You're a little hot. You need your volume down there?
Yes, please.
All right, how's that?
Oh, a little more. I got sensitive ears.
Why do you have sensitive ears?
I had tubes in my ears as a kid.
No!
Perfect.
Do you still have the tubes in your ears?
No.
That's a hell of a way to start the podcast with Mark Norman.
Wait, are we on?
Yeah.
You're one of those guys, eh?
Well, I want to get sneaky, and I want to get something from you.
All right.
Do you need me to cut out the tube thing?
No. Tubes are tied. We're good.
Why did you have tubes in your ears growing up?
I had swimmer's ear as a kid, chronic swimmer's ear. My ears would be full, they would leak. Like literally, I'd be sitting at school, my ears would just drip wax.
Really?
Yeah, so I had to go get it all sucked out and had to sit under this big needle, and I had my head sideways, and I just put a needle in my ear and just sucked it out like a vacuum cleaner.
Wow.
It was wild.
And then they added tubes to your ears to help that problem?
Yeah, so the wax would flow right out. It wouldn't cake. You know?
You were a mess growing up.
The bedwetting. I had moles on my head. I had to get the moles lanced. I had horrible braces on my legs.
Wait, I've done the mole thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I've done the mole thing. You're my mole brother. How many moles did you have?
I had about 6 on the top of my head.
Oh, on the top of your head?
So if I combed my hair, I would go through it, and they would bleed.
Really?
Because you'd cut them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had them all over my face.
Really?
Yeah, man. As soon as I got money, I said, I'm getting rid of these moles.
What? You were like a Morgan Freeman.
I wouldn't go that far. No, what was sad was they were like, they were clear. So you couldn't really tell, but it bothered the hell out of me. And I had them all along my jawbone. I don't even remember all the places I had them, but... When I see a mole now, I'm like, why wouldn't you get rid of that? You know how easy it is these days?
There's some big brown moles out there that blow my mind.
With 1 or 2 hairs?
Yes.
Why wouldn't you at least shave the hair?
I know. I fucked this girl once in Texas, and she had a huge mole right below her nose. And I remember being like, you're beautiful with this mole. It's the only reason I'm allowed to fuck you.
Right.
You would never fuck me without that mole.
Every time I see a girl with a mole on their face, I just feel like it's a speck of duty. I can't get past that.
Yeah, what do they think? And then they go, it's a beauty mark. No, it's gross.
Not. It's gross, thank you.
Get rid
so
of
you
it.
think Cindy Crawford was the one that sort of set that
Even
in our
hers
heads?
bothered me.
Yeah, it bothered me as well.
Thank you, Mark Norman, because you don't need to do that in this day and age.
No.
And then girls will go, wow, I can't believe we're talking about moles.
Yeah.
I have so much to talk to Mark about, but I'll finish it up with this. Then when you feel comfortable and you try to tell someone, get rid of that fucking mole, and then they're like, and I'll say it like that, get rid of that fucking mole. Then they're like, yeah, but it'll leave a scar. I'm like, it's better than looking like you have a piece of shit on your face.
Yeah, I don't see any scarring on you.
No, man, I'm beautiful.
Yeah, you look good. Plus, we are lucky enough to get a little scruff.
Yes.
You can cover anything with some
Yeah,
scruff.
you can hide some of that. But Mark Norman is here. He's one of my favorites, and I apologize that I haven't got you on the podcast sooner.
No, it's good to be here.
But we're finally doing it. This is Robert. He's
Hey, Rob.
also known as.
How are you?
He's also known as Littlefoot.
Oh, yeah?
Well, he says he has like a size 7, but it's like
7.5.
It's like a 5.5, maybe a 6.
Oh, I thought you were Native American.
It's my blues name too.
Yeah.
Choctaw. All right, well, yeah, they are pretty dainty. Those
Look,
little
they work.
hoofs you got there.
Yeah, and I learned.
Babe Ruth.
right.
We learned that Babe Ruth had small feet.
See, I'm in good company.
And that's why he was such a good runner, because
he did run like a little pansy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you know who else? John Wayne.
John Wayne had small
Tiny.
feet.
If you go to L.A., the Walk of Fame there, he's got the tiny little feet imprints
That's
in the
right.
cement.
So, that's why he was so angry.
I guess so, yeah.
The stories about John Wayne, you know, right?
Yeah.
He was a bit on the angry side. So, anyway, Mark, I haven't talked to you in a while, so I was just kind of doing research, and then I got caught up in watching you on local TV around America.
Is that out there?
It could be my favorite thing in the world.
I didn't know that was available.
Because you don't give a shit. That's what I've always liked about you. You don't care about the PC culture and the social justice warriors and what Louis C.K.'s up to and all that. You just let it fly. And you let it fly in these local news shows, and they are horrified, but they also adore you, and I think half of them want to have sex with you.
You think so?
Yes!
I've tried with these local skanks in the morning, but, it's 4 in the morning, you're hungover, you got half a boner. It's so hard to be funny, it's hard to be on, and these people are so phony. You know, like if you say anything interesting, you can feel the cameramen and the producers like, oh, God, what's he going to say? And they're like, hey, we got funny man here, Mark Normand. He's going to be at Hilarities tonight. And, tell us a little about yourself, Mark. We hear you have a podcast. And you're going to be like, yeah, it's a podcast where I go on and talk about who I fucked and who I, had a fight with and all this. And they don't want to hear that.
Well, you get the cameraman kind of chuckling. That's always the case.
That's true.
Those guys are hardcore, old school guys, and they're bored as hell filming that local news crap.
That's right.
So when someone like you comes in, they're very happy, and
That's
you can hear them
true.
chuckling in the background. And then they always give you the hot young news person that's coming up.
Right.
You're trying to touch her, and then you're like, I think it's a Me Too movement now. And
yeah, I think in a weird way because they're so dead inside. They have to be so phony
that
after they always give me like that was great, good stuff, like a real moment of. This was real.
Yeah, I enjoyed my job today.
Yes.
I didn't have to, act like a fucking phony.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Real quick, Mark brought along a couple clips of his morning news appearances. Let's listen to the cameramen laugh uncontrollably as if it's their first week on the job, and of course, the awkwardness of the host, whose days in this business will most likely last about as long as their looks will. Regardless, Mark's the perfect guest for these prompter-fed clones. Check it out.
Welcome back here to New Day, Cleveland. It is time for a little bit of a laugh. We need comedian Mark Normand in our lives. He'll be here at Hilarities this weekend. So welcome here into the studio. It's good to have you here.
Hey, good to be here. It's a pleasure. I'm a little hungover, a little gay, but just glad to be here with you, sister.
I appreciate you saying that. I'm very happy to be here with you, too.
All right. Sorry, just hiding my erection. This is great.
I know you just left Slyman's.
Yeah, I had Slyman's, so I'm really going to be on the toilet later. But, boy, best corned beef in the Midwest, if you ask me.
It's delicious. It's the size of your head.
Yeah, and I ate way too much, but at least everybody there was very attractive.
That's good.
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
But good grub there. Whew, still hurting.
Yeah, I bet you are.
I've been farting it up in the green room, and I think I scared
That's why the door was shut to our little smaller green room.
Exactly.
You were just trying to be polite.
We call it hot boxing. Really soaking it all in, because the smell of your own farts, for some reason, is enjoyable. If you farted, it'd be weird. But if I fart, I enjoy. I don't know why.
Is that a guy thing?
Maybe.
Because I feel like you would hear no woman would ever say something like that.
No, you guys are more of maybe a queefing.
Oh my gosh.
But,
okay.
Is that clean?
That's a
technical
we're 10
term.
a.m. TV. I mean,
Oh, sorry. 10 a.m. You've up, you had your coffee, and your meth, or who knows what. So we're all adults here.
I feel like women should hit on men more. Hit on us, ladies. You can say whatever you want to a guy. I had an older lady approach me once. She goes, "Ooh, I'm gonna kidnap you." I was like, "Wow, I could never say that to a woman." I said that to a lady. She calls the police. I would be curious to know what a woman could say that would offend me. Like, all right, I'm gonna take you home, drug you, take advantage of you, and film it. I'd be like, all right, well, at least let me pay for the Uber.
Our next guest is a New Orleans native, but now resides in New York City, where he is taking the comedy scene by storm.
And I can't believe what I'm going to get ready to read
I
here.
know. This is a new intro for us.
This is. He claims to have been a bedwetter as a kid, even as an adult. Comedian Mark Norman, stand-up is anything but dry, and you can see for yourself this weekend at Side Splitters. But first, he's here with us. I gotta say, I knew you were a self.
sorry.
Hey,
Don't let yourself.
I didn't know we were
it happens.
Pete a little.
It happens. Well, that was perfect for the intro then. Good
Yeah.
timing on your behalf, right?
Bedwetter till I was 14. Brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah, a lot of ruined mattresses. It looked like a coffee filter. Yeah, but I'm over it now. I'm good.
Okay, that's good.
Well, one thing that I've been able to kind of pick up is you do have that old self-deprecating humor, which I
Sure.
do enjoy in a comedian.
I do hate myself. I'm always drawn to people that hate me, I guess because we have so much in common.
Oh,
But yeah, I think most comics should be a little self-deprecating. It'd be weird if I was just like, I'm great, I'm amazing, you know? So you got to make fun of yourself a little.
well, tell us a little bit about yourself. I wanted to hear about life growing up in New Orleans. It seems like such a cool area of the country, very different than I think most others.
Very different. It's pretty lawless down there, very
Yeah?
boozy. All my friends are, pieces of garbage and doing nothing. And I love it there. You go back down there and you slip right back in. You're like, I'll have a cocktail at 9 a.m. and I'll find a
Chasing alligators
prostitute.
down there too?
Yeah. No, that's all silly. I mean, if alligators is code for drugs, but
Back to you, Greg.
I was watching you on Conan, and you've done every talk show at this point.
Almost all of them, yeah. I got to do a Kimmel and a Myers, and I got them all wrapped up.
Oh, you didn't do Kimmel yet?
Well, Kimmel's the worst one. Everybody hates Kimmel. I have friends who've done it. They're like, don't ever do Kimmel. You go to another room to do stand-up. The crowd has to go with you to this stand-up room.
Right.
And then, so now they're like jarred and like, what the hell's going on? And then you have to just do your act, no host, no warm-up, and I don't know. Everybody
So
says
how
don't
does
do
he?
it.
I didn't know that. So he just intros the comic, and they're in another room waiting for the cue.
No, he goes, all right, audience, we're going to go to the stand-up room. So they all walk into another room with a stage, and then the comic comes out, and they're standing, they're not sitting.
And now they're worried they're not going to get their original seat back when they go back into the other room.
Maybe.
That's a dumb way to do it.
It's a horrible way to do it, and everybody bombs. Go watch a Kimmel set. They're all shit. They're all shit. And Rob Delaney had the famous one. You hear about him?
No.
He's this guy. I don't want to shit on the guy. He's a nice guy and a talented guy. But he had the worst late night set of all time. He didn't get one laugh.
Right.
He didn't get one tee-hee, not a ha. And they scrubbed it from the internet. And Kimmel was like, no more comedy after that. So like 5 years later, they started allowing comedy back.
Well, it's his problem. It's his fault.
I know.
He needs to do it like all the old school guys, like Jay Leno and Letterman and Carson, and do it right there with the audience. They're all relaxed.
Of course, yeah. But
that is bizarre.
It doesn't work.
And these late night guys, they all wave you over now, right? So there's no, right, with Carson, it was if you did a good enough set, that was that rite of passage. If you got kind of, hey, come on over and sit and do panel for a minute, right?
Yeah.
It's all set up ahead of time now, whether you're doing it or not, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's different now. I mean, back then, obviously, you do a late night now, it's just kind of for fun. You get like $800 and a ride to the 30 Rock and all that. It's fun. But back in the day, it could make your career, and if you got waved over, it was legendary and all that, but now it's nothing.
Now it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
But it's still exciting, man.
I love it. I still have friends who are like doing well in the business. They're like, blow that off. Come to the park. We'll have some beers. I'm like, I'm going to do Fallon. They're like, blow it off. I'm like, what are you kidding? That's how little it means now.
It's going to be 80 degrees today. We can see girls without bras.
Yeah.
Why do you want to do that Conan thing?
Yeah. What are you wearing, a suit and makeup? What are you, homo? Yeah, come on.
But you are right. I remember the days a comic went on, like especially Johnny Carson. And then for a while there, Jay Leno and Letterman after that, and the whole career was made.
Yeah.
And then that guy felt the pressure.
Right.
You've heard the stories of the Boston comics, right?
Oh, with Lenny Clark and Stephen Wright got it, and they hated him.
I think Stephen Wright was the first.
Yeah.
And then when he went back to Boston, they were all pressuring him to be like, hey, man, why don't you introduce us to your new friends in Hollywood?
Exactly.
So
those days are over.
Those days are over, unfortunately. Do you see ticket sales go up after these appearances?
No, not a wink. This shit helps. Podcasting, anything viral, make your own video. Like if I grabbed a girl's boob on the news, that would help me.
Right.
I mean, it would hurt me on Twitter, but it would help me. Louis C.K. still sells out.
Yeah, he does.
Not saying I'm Louis, but you get it. But yeah, so like a viral video, a big pod, even a Netflix special, I don't know if is selling tickets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's all changed. It's all different. It's tough to sell.
So you guys just got to hustle your asses off
Yeah.
all the time and try to, build up the numbers.
It's so true. You got to one of my friends just puts a bunch of clips on Instagram, and he
Right.
sells out from that.
Yeah, who?
This guy Sam Morril.
Oh, no, yeah, of course.
Yeah, so he'll just put up clips on Instagram.
Right.
He did a Comedy Central special. No one sees that.
Yeah.
Then you put the clips up, and people see the clips on the
Yeah.
internet because
Yeah.
it's shareable.
Right.
You can look at it whenever. Comedy Central comes on when it comes on, and you miss it.
No, because we're all sitting there with our phones just looking for
Exactly.
just some dumb thing that'll make us
Yes.
chuckle for a minute or two.
Exactly.
So, man, the Louis C.K. thing, I was yelling. I'm defending him, and what I already know you defend Louis C.K. I don't even have to fucking ask you. But there's a lot of guys out there like fucking want to jump on him and
Yeah.
destroy him because it's like, it's our moment to finally pull him back down to earth. And I'm
Yep.
like, if he goes down for that bullshit, you're all going down for that bullshit.
I don't get it. I mean, it's a weird time. Joey Diaz put it the best. He said, I have a bit in my act where I talk about beating the shit out of a guy and robbing him.
Right.
And nobody cares.
Right.
He's like admitting that. Like, I beat this guy up and took his wallet.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But why? It's just weird because that's way worse.
Right.
But nobody gives a fuck.
Of course.
And that's just where we're at. We have these, outrage du jour. Like, oh, now it's a Me Too thing. So now anything about that, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But, people have done, MLK, Gandhi. They're all, ex-womanizers and this and that. But they got off because, I don't know. It's like, which one is it? Do we hate these people who womenized, or do we not hate them?
Yeah, it's false morality, first of all.
That's a big part
most
of
of
it.
the people don't give a fuck that Louis C.K. did that
Of
set.
course,
It
of
was
course.
just his turn to get the abuse.
Right.
And then the circus, if you hang in there long enough, I've been saying this on a couple podcasts now, if you hang in there long enough, that stupid circus will move on to the next person.
Right,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean,
that happens every week.
But to see your fellow comics going, at least make the material funny. I'm like, first of all, it was funny.
It was
might,
funny.
It might not be your cup of tea, but it was
Yeah.
funny. Second of all, I mean, you're a comic, meaning the guys that were trashing Louis, as well as yourself, of course. You know how this stuff goes. He's still working on it and honing the thing.
Of course.
And then people think that what a comic says in a comedy club, especially like a late show, you guys will say stuff differently in an early show that you'll do in a
Right,
late show.
right,
Because
yeah.
like a late show, they're a little looser and willing to take a little more. All this went into that whole Louis C.K. thing.
I know. I mean,
It wasn't ready for the public, sorry.
No, I just don't care about anything. Like, people are like, I'm one of these guys, I can separate the art. You know,
Right.
Woody Allen did this. I know, but he's a good director. I
Right.
know, but he did this. I know,
Right.
but he's good.
Right.
Also, you can do that with everybody. What if Robert, you're a killer engineer, we'll say. Let's say you fucked a kid, but I don't know you fucked a kid. Are you still a great engineer? But now if I find out you fucked a kid, does that make your engineering shittier?
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, just because someone did a bad thing doesn't mean they're not talented. So Louis C.K., that hour that he did at Governor's that got leaked, I thought it was hilarious. And then for people to go, well, you can't talk about school shootings. Well, you can't pick and choose.
Right.
Either we can talk about school shootings or we can't talk about anything.
Right.
You know? So I can't believe comics are attacking this guy. That's when I really got
Thank you. That's my angle here today.
I got emotionally hurt by that.
Yeah, because, I mean, you expect the social justice warriors and Twitter and all that to go
Yeah,
after people,
yeah.
go after something like that. That's like red meat for them. But to see fellow comics doing it, I'm like, you're nuts.
It hurt my feelings.
Of
and
course.
That's where because we're looking for outrage.
Right.
You know, like you watch the Golden Globes intro, and it's like, we're going to make joke, quote unquote, roasting. Hey, Bradley Cooper, you're hot. Like, that's how scared we are.
Yeah.
We have to fucking tiptoe and dance around. We're so scared of offending. It's going to have the reverse effect. Everything is going to go the other way because this is how things work. You know, we got grunge, and then you get fucking boy bands.
Right.
And then you go back to this, and then it gets gangster rap. But everything has to flip-flop.
Of
so
course.
if we're going to be so fucking kid glovesy, then it's going to go hard the other way, and it's coming, and these people aren't going to know what to do.
Yeah, and you can make fun of pretty much anything.
Yes.
Patrice taught me a long time ago you could take a topic very seriously and care about something, but you could also make jokes about that same topic.
Right, exactly.
And I don't think the current generation, the younger generation, I wanted to ask you about this. Do they get that? Are they edgy? Do they want to hear edge, or do they want to hear everything just very?
I think it's in them still. I mean, there's still people with loins and hormones and angstiness.
Yeah.
So I think now they channel their angstiness, whereas we go, I want to hear some dirty jokes, I want to hear curse words, I want to see some tits or whatever. When we were kids, that's how we were. But now it's like they channel all that anger and angst into fucking up your career.
Right.
Like, let's ruin this guy. He had blackface in 1948. Let's kill him, you know? And it's like, when I was a kid, people went trick-or-treating and dressed up like, you know, whoever the hell.
An Indian or
the guy from the black guy from Ghostbusters. And black people were like, hey, that's a cute kid.
Yeah.
You know, and it was normal. So I'm not saying blackface is good. You know, people could quote all this shit and kill my career. But, you know, I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it was a different time.
I could help you with that, and I'm not going for the joke, but a lot of people think it's black or white with the blackface issue. It's like, no, you know, you could have hate in your heart, and put blackface on because you really want to be a dick toward, you know, African Americans, or you could be doing it because you're entering a Michael Jackson contest,
and you're 19 years old, and it's 1983, and you're dumb,
and you're not thinking twice about it.
I know. It's kooky.
I mean, and plus the fact that we're talking about Virginia now, obviously. That was like 1984.
Yeah.
Has the guy is the guy allowed to change?
Right.
Well, to your point, does that make him not an effective governor?
Exactly.
Or not an effective attorney general? Now, the lieutenant governor who allegedly
he had
harassed someone. You know,
well, that's the third
That's a
guy.
different. That's another. I mean, that whole state just needs to shut down.
They got three problems there. They got the original who wasn't sure if he was the Ku Klux Klan guy
or the
African
Al
American.
Jolson, right?
And then he admitted he was in the photo. Then he said, "Oh no, I'm not in the photo."
Yeah.
And then he realized he had to admit something. So then he admitted he was blackface for Michael Jackson dance contest. And then he was going to do Did you see where he was going to do the moonwalk?
No.
Oh my!
They had a press conference. This is awesome. They have this
hilarious.
press conference, right?
This is made for you.
Oh wow.
And they go ahead.
No,
They say that's where he says, well, I did dress in blackface once. I was dressed as Michael Jackson for a dance competition. And then he gets all like, you could see him in his mind. He goes back to 1984 and he goes, and I won. I won for doing the moonwalk. And there's a reporter that is going to ask a serious question and then changes it on the beat and goes, hey, can you still do the moonwalk? And you watch the clip and the governor of Virginia goes,
he's ready to do it. And his wife goes, what do you... She didn't say this out loud, but you know how women can
inappropriate
be. With
circumstances.
Their faces.
Yeah.
She's basically looking at him like, "Are you insane?
Wow.
Don't moonwalk here."
And then he goes,
and
he's totally like, you know, cut in half, right?
Yeah.
Balls are chopped off, and he goes, "My wife says it's an inappropriate time for this."
Yeah. And I'm at home laughing my ass off, and then you turn on all the news programs. That's what I hear these days.
Well, couple things.
Yes.
You realize in 1980, whatever, we had a half hour of news. All the news was put into 1.5 hour.
Right.
Now it's 24 hours. There's a crawl. There's 18 things, 8 screens behind you,
Sure.
16 people discussing, debating. So we need so much. Like back in 85, you went, some guy made a rape joke at a comedy club. We got to put that on the news. They'd go, what are you kidding? We got 12 dead in Syria. Get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
Now everything has to be news, and everybody has to keep being outraged so they can keep up.
Right.
They can let you see how virtuous they are.
Right.
Like, look how good of a person I am. What's next? Ah, shit, we got nothing. Pull out a yearbook.
Yeah.
Pull out a yearbook. Okay, we got something from 84.
Right.
Great. All right.
Right.
You got to keep pulling shit out.
Yeah.
That's why it keeps changing every 2 days. Like, now we hate Norm Macdonald. Oh, that's over. All right, now we hate Kevin Hart. Oh, that's over.
Yeah.
What's next? You got to just keep fueling that fire. It's like these Vikings that go to one town, they rape everybody, they eat all the food, then they go, well, shit, there's nothing here. Then they go to another town.
Yeah.
That's what people are doing with these outrage
But
cultures.
why are we allowing it to happen?
Because we're scared. We're all scared of losing our job.
Yeah, but there's no real morality behind it, and it's so
No.
obvious to me. And it's like, just hang in there, and like I said, the circus will fucking leave town, man.
Yeah, I mean,
and with the governor of Virginia, I'm sitting there like, at least discuss. That it was
Yes.
1984.
That's a part of it.
Is this a Halloween party? Because when I was in,
we're not discussing.
I never did blackface, but I will say this: when I was in Geneseo, we did the most outrageous Halloween costume. It was a thing that happens to this day, pretty much.
We did that too.
Was that what this was all about? Does that mean there's hate in his heart? Is he still that same guy if he was a hateful person?
Right.
Like, none of that was discussed. We found this in a yearbook, you got to resign.
And
Like,
exactly.
whoa, there's way more to discuss.
And it
before
came
we get
out
to that
now. The
point.
guy's been the governor of Virginia for a year or whatever, and it comes out now that somebody went and tried and went and found his medical school yearbook. So he's a graduate student.
Yeah.
He's a doctoral candidate. So why are we? Does it matter? I mean, wouldn't all of that vetting have come out before?
Yeah,
If it didn't matter.
Well, they blew it because, like going back to Mark's point, everyone is right now. People are looking right now to try to get someone that's way more famous than me in a lot of trouble. They're just searching and trying to find shit.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised they didn't find that.
So you're
Somebody dropped the ball.
So you're telling me that when I dressed in drag in college for a talent show, and there's a picture of that in my college yearbook, that somewhere down the road somebody's going to get offended because I dressed in drag.
No, you're good, man. Trannies are all the rage now. You should be president of the United States.
That's true. It's ironic because we're so contradictory. Like if a guy hires, let's say you run a corporation and you go, I'm going to hire this ex-con. He murdered 8 people, raped 12 women. I'm going to hire him. What a great guy. You go, look at you hiring this minority who's got a horrible record. But then with like Louis, they go, oh, fucking tear him to pieces. String him up.
Right.
Crucify him. But it's like, well, what happened to rehabilitation?
Of course.
He's been through a lot. It was 12 years ago. He's had 2 kids. He's been through therapy. He's given a lot of money to this and that.
Right.
Why aren't we... I feel like we hold certain people to a higher standard, and that's kind of this innate... I don't want to say racism or prejudice, but it's like, well, he's a rich white guy. He should have known better.
Look, he's guilty of being a creep, but he wasn't convicted of anything.
And he asked. I mean, we don't want to get into all of it.
But there was also contrition, right? He was, when it came to light, he pulled himself out of the limelight. I mean, he was going to force, but again, went through this whole soul searching thing. Was sorry for it.
Yeah.
The difference, I think. And I don't like people that have lumped Louis and Bill Cosby into the same sentence because he was convicted.
I agree.
He never apologized or gave any wiggle room that somebody's, Cosby stuck to the point where it became ugly and angry. And now it's more difficult to separate the art from his actions as because then when you find out he's been doing it the whole time and hurt people.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, I'm just being...
Yeah, but to Mark's point, I think Woody Allen is a creep and disgusting, but he makes some fine movies. I'll still watch his fine movies.
Yeah,
I can separate the two because he's not in my stupid life.
Ray Rice is still a good athlete.
Right.
Whether he hit a woman or not. And I don't approve of hitting a woman. That was a crazy video.
Yeah.
But like, come on. It shouldn't. I'm not saying he should work. I'm just saying it shouldn't matter. I hate this whole like, well, Louis was never funny. Like, oh, shut up. He was the best ever. What are you kidding? Let's not be children here.
That's all jealousy from a bunch of your fellow comics, man.
Yeah.
You warmed up for Louis C.K. back in the day.
Sure.
You were one of his guys. To say Louis not funny, that's ridiculous. Dare I say he's brilliant at what he does.
Of course, everybody knows that.
And going to Ray Rice, I didn't think we were going to talk about Ray Rice today, but he never got a second chance, even though his wife basically stayed with him and said, we're good now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
All that happened.
Wow. Well, there you go.
She never left him. I mean, she took it seriously, what happened and all that, and then said, but I'm sticking by him, and we're going to work through this, and you haven't heard a peep from that couple since.
Yeah.
But the NFL, but it's not good enough for the NFL for some reason.
Yeah.
And he never got another chance.
Well, we're just going off buzzwords now, like Liam Neeson. Okay, this guy goes, my friend got raped by a black guy, so I wanted to go find a black guy and beat the shit out of him. That was something like, is that what he said?
Yeah,
something like
Yeah,
that.
pretty much.
And years ago, right?
And now he's admitting, I had this crazy thought. It was a horrible idea. I'm sharing it with you.
Yeah.
I realized it was insane. And now we're mad at him. He's like, no, I had a horrible thought, which
Right.
I'm a human being. I'm allowed to have, and I didn't do anything, but we're still mad.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. Like,
and he's trying
crazy.
to make it into a teaching moment now.
Of course.
Yes, but we hear, white guy wants to fight black guy. That's it.
Right.
We got enough. It's like we got enough for a potion or we got enough for a stew. Cook it up.
Yeah.
There we go. That's all we need is certain ingredients. We got white guy, hates black guy, fighting, rape. Put it all together. We got a stew.
And then you wonder why no one wants to open up and just have
exactly
discussions about anything, race
Yeah.
or what have you. And really fast about the blackface. Did you see the Gucci sweater before we wrap up this whole blackface?
I did see that.
What do you think of that? And Gucci has to apologize for basically being racist, and they know when they made that sweater. If you don't know, it's like a turtleneck. You pull it up, and the sweater goes to right under the nose, and then there's a hole with giant red lips.
Yeah.
And it's a black sweater.
It's a black sweater.
Right.
Gucci's thinking cool design, whatever, for winter. I think it was an ugly sweater,
Sure.
but I'm not abroad, so who knows what they like. But all of a sudden, they have to apologize for being racist when they should have just said, look, that was not our intention.
We're
man."
Italian. We don't know any better.
And I'm sorry people were offended, but that wasn't what we were going for, and we're going to keep the fucking sweater in stores.
Are they keeping it?
No, that's what they should have done. But instead, they always cave and fold.
Of
The next
course.
thing, they feel like they have to admit to things they know are wrong.
Yes.
Just to make it all go away. We're going to take the sweaters out of all the stores. We'll burn them. Don't worry.
Well,
blah,
they're not.
blah, blah.
Are they really going to burn them? I mean, the irony of this whole thing is, you know what happens to all those clothes that get pulled out of stores? It's we're all the LA Rams Super Bowl
Oh,
we
yeah,
won,
sure.
right?
That's my.
It all ends up in Africa.
Yeah, that's one of my.
That's hilarious.
That's one of my oldest bits. Yeah, right now, somewhere in Africa, they're wearing LA
irony.
Rams Super Bowl champion T-shirts. And then Katy Perry. This happened, I think, today or yesterday. She's got black shoes with a face on them.
Uh-huh.
That's blackface.
Oh,
Hey!
wow. I wouldn't even have thought that. But now you're telling me that, so now I have more of a racist thought. You're putting racist thoughts into my head.
But no free-thinking human being actually looks at Katy Perry's dumb shoes with a face on a black shoe and thinks blackface. So now that's a problem.
Wow.
Look it up on Twitter when you get home.
That's
there,
what I'm
Marky.
saying. We need the firewood. You got to keep that fire, that outrage fire going. What else? We got black shoes with a face. I'll take it.
Right.
We'll take anything now because we got to keep the outrage fire going. It's so scary. I feel like, I hate to sound like Grandpa Normand, but it feels like we have such little to do. We have zero problems. We got some crazy shit going on, obviously, but things are better than they've ever been.
Right.
There's no war, really. Like, no one's thinking about the war. There's no famine. There's no get out there and till the field.
Right.
You just wake up, you make a cup of coffee, you jerk off, you look at Instagram for 4 hours, you go on Facebook, you tweet,
Right.
you read the news, you go, who we lynching today? Who's going to get the guillotine?
Yeah.
Let's all talk about it. And then you get Grubhub and you go to bed.
Yeah.
So we have to make up. That's why anybody with any victimhood seems better than us. They go, "Oh, you're oppressed. You should be the president, or you should be in charge. You have this. You're adopted." Anything with any kind of oppression or hardship,
Right.
is now like elevated and put on a pedestal.
yeah.
Because of that. Because we used to all have it.
Right.
We used to all have a hardship. He got the measles. He got the plague. He died, in the war or whatever. Now we're looking for it.
I think it's a lot of people that have hate and fear and pain.
Yeah.
And this is how they express it, unfortunately.
I think you're right.
Let's go after someone today, and then it's a tidal wave.
Yes.
And then it's like, well, you don't care about Louis C.K. anymore? Now, who are we moving on to today? Because I can't keep track anymore.
I know.
I just can't keep track of this shit.
And people just want to feel heard, and this is their way of having an opinion, having a personality.
Right.
And I don't know, it can't last, but I'm not that smart. Why can I see this and they can't? These are smart people who do this.
I'm gonna say something that most people wouldn't say. I think Amy Schumer's really fucking brave.
Oh, really?
And you were with her for 7 or 8 years. Do you still tour with her?
No. I'm doing my own headlining.
No,
stuff.
and you should be. You're at that point. But
I was just talking to her last night.
Mark met Amy Schumer about 7 or 8 years ago. I think the story goes you were having a bad set.
I was, yeah.
And she was walking through the room and heard one joke that killed. The rest of the set, Mark, you have said this, that it was just mediocre and kind of a bad set. And then next thing you know, she's in the green room and inviting him on tour. And that was right before she was already moving.
Yeah.
And then you were part of the rocket ship.
I saw the whole thing.
You went from touring with Amy Schumer in the back of like a Delta flight, let's say, to private jets like that.
Yeah, it was like within 3 years, she was 4 seasons, arenas, private jets, the whole thing, helicopters. It was pretty wild. I went by the helipad today on Hudson.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I've been on that. And it had like a weird moment. But yeah, it's crazy, like.
What was it? She would just call you up and go, get to the helicopter pad. We're on our way.
Her assistant would send me an email like, this is the itinerary for today, and you had to be fucking on time or they'd leave your ass. And she's very punctual and just gets shit done. And so I'd show up 20 minutes early. We'd jump on the helicopter and go to fucking Philly or whatever and do a gig and come back that night.
How was that, Mark?
It was pretty amazing, and I don't think I realized what I had while I had it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be on a jet, and she'd have, like, filet mignon and lobster on a jet, and I was like, well, hey, it's another Saturday night. Then I'd be home by midnight, half drunk from super expensive scotch,
Right.
and be like, well, that was crazy. I just performed for 10,000 people, and now what do? Let's see who's up for fucking me.
And you would start in New York and you would go to bed in New York, right?
Oh, yeah.
How crazy is
You
that?
got a gig in D.C. It takes 28 minutes to get there on a jet.
Right.
And then you do the gig at 8. You left the house at 7.
Right.
Do the gig at 8, packed out theater, some, Daughter of the American Revolution, 5,000 people, 10,000 people. She kills. You get back on the jet, go home, and you're having dinner at Sardi's.
Wow.
It was wild.
The reason I say that she's brave is because, she doesn't have to speak up about these hot-button issues in America, and she's used her fame to speak out.
That's true.
And that isolates a lot of people,
It
man.
does. I wouldn't do it. I don't have the guts, or I don't care. I guess I'm selfish. I would be like, I'm going to just keep writing jokes.
Yeah.
And she's doing a new special, so she's still working as well, and pregnant.
Yeah.
But I would just go, hey, I'm a comic. I don't need to do this shit.
Right.
But I think there's something to being super rich and wanting to give back. Maybe there's a guilt to it. I don't know, because you see like Chelsea Handler's doing it a lot now.
Yeah.
Schumer, a lot of big stars, Judd Apatow. They want to give back. And maybe I still have that poor kid in me, so I don't have that.
I just wish Judd would explain what Louis was doing. But whatever.
Well, that's
I
a
know.
whole
I
other-
know he's a
that's a whole other
very.
podcast.
I understand, and I know he's a very influential person in your field. So we'll leave it alone. But that one really frustrated me
Hey.
personally. But anyway,
We all
'cause
wanna
I-
do Crashers.
Yeah, I know, and I've talked to Judd over the years. I'm like, I want to say, Judd, how the process of putting a set together goes. But whatever. And just because I say Amy Schumer's brave doesn't mean I necessarily agree with her politically on everything. But she could easily just not do that. But she has chosen to do that, because even me saying this, I'm going to get a lot of bullshit over that. And I'm dumb. I'm not smart like you, because I take shots at both sides. So I
Right.
So now both sides get mad at me.
I know.
And as soon as I go after Trump, which is so easy because he does a lot of dumb stuff on a daily basis, that if you're a guy that's trying to make people laugh and try to go for jokes, it's pretty. He gives you a lot of material.
Yeah, he's a
And next thing
Dumbo.
you know, you check your Twitter and you're a libtard and you're a
Right,
snowflake
right.
and you're this and that, and you go, hey, I've made fun of Hillary as well. I've made fun of Obama, but yeah, maybe I make fun of Trump more, but there's more material there.
Sure, yeah, it's just easy. That's why I don't make fun of Trump, because it's too easy, and everybody's
really?
doing it. Yeah, so I'm like, people go, what do you support Trump? I'm like, no, it's just the joke's been made. You watch Colbert, then you click through to Fallon, then you click through to they're all making the same joke.
Right.
So I'm like, fuck this.
Well, I'll say this about those guys. I just wish they would balance it out more.
Yeah,
They do lean a little to the left with their jokes, and it's hard to defend because people go, I can't watch Saturday Night Live or any of those talk show hosts because they just trash Trump and the right, and that. I mean, I still laugh at SNL, and I definitely still laugh at the late night shows, but they kind of have a point. I do wish
Sure.
some of these guys would just balance it out, and take shots on both sides. But
I agree. I mean, I would just rather I hate political comedy. I never liked it.
Oh, really?
I never got it. It all just changes in 4 years. Now you got to write a new joke.
Right.
And I don't know. I like jokes about humanity and people and, groups and reality, real stuff like relatable shit, dating and drinking and parents and all that. So I don't know. To me, it's like, can you believe what Mueller said? I'm like, well, hold on. Now I got to Google Mueller. Who the fuck's? He's the secretary of what now? What do they do? Now I'm in the judicial system and I'm on the branch of government. Fuck that. Just tell me about your dick.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't like it. I never have.
I don't believe in either side, and as much as I say that, people still think.
But geez, talk about what do you call it? Biased?
Right.
Like somebody made a good point. A friend of mine, he goes, the left is all about strong women. We want a strong, independent woman. And he's like, well, who the strongest woman is? Huckabee Sanders.
Right.
She's getting a shit sandwich thrown at her every day. She's got to listen to Trump's bullshit, and she
Right.
still goes out there on the TV and delivers. Who's stronger than that? And they go, well, we don't like her. She's on the right. You're like, I know, but you got to admit she's strong. They go, fuck her.
Yeah.
See, I'm too neutral. Like when Bill Maher, sorry, I'm going off here.
No, go. This
When
is the
Bill,
good stuff.
Bill Maher said terrorists, you got to admit, they're brave. And he got canned and yelled at. But he's right. They're brave. So I can see it both sides. These fucking cunt-guzzling Nazi jizz-faced twats, they're so brainwashed by their own dick and their own semen that they're guzzling that they can't see that certain things, just because they're not on your side, are still a fact.
Yeah.
We have to have a reality here. We have to have facts.
Right.
Ah!
I don't like Sarah Sanders because I want her just to one time say, I don't believe half the shit I'm saying.
I'm with you, but you got to admit she's tough.
No, she is tough. She takes a lot on a daily basis. Know who I really like is Anthony Scaramucci. I didn't think I was going to like him.
The Mooch.
Do you know the Mooch?
I'm aware of the Mooch.
He sat in that seat.
Is that right?
Yes. He had a great time. We hit it off. He actually apologized to me because I've been trying to get him on the podcast with the whole wall thing and this and that. Because he has really good angles on things. Because he knows that Washington is full of shit.
Yeah.
He obviously leans right, but he also knows that Washington is broken, and I love talking to the guy. And then he gets back to me. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I was in the Big Brother house. I should have got back to you sooner than I did." He was on Celebrity Big Brother with Tom Green and the rest of them.
Oh God, that's a tough room to be in.
Yeah, no kidding.
A lot of B.
Oh my God, Mark, we just went off on a tangent.
Wait,
I love
last
it.
thing I'll say, and
Yeah,
this
please.
is why it's hard being an American right now, because there's no concrete anything. Like, here's an example.
Yeah.
Okay, gender is fluid now.
Right.
It's all fluid. You're not a man, you're not a woman, we're all binary. And I go, okay, I'll accept that. Great, got it. But then when a guy transitions into a woman, he goes, I'm 100% woman. Fuck you, I'm a woman. And you go, yeah, you're a woman, but I thought we were all fluid.
Right.
Which one is it?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's tough.
I love it.
Because everybody picks and chooses what's what, you know? So
My take on this, so obviously I'm older than you by a bit. When I was growing up, we didn't even talk about gay.
right.
All right, and now you fast forward a few decades here, and now you want guys that are as old as me to just immediately accept the whole transgender thing. And my whole thought on this is, no hate in my heart, but give me a little time to digest this shit, because it's coming at us fast now.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
And why can't we talk about it?
And if you don't, they're like, oh, you got hate. I'm like, no, I don't.
Yes.
No, I don't.
And that's another thing. How can you tell me what I hate? I can't tell you what gender you are. You can't tell me what I hate. You don't know what's inside me.
Right. I had a transgender help me out at a candy store, and I was still incredibly uncomfortable. Because it was just weird. It's still weird to me.
Yeah.
I'm happy for that person
Sure.
and all that. I do have love for people. I live in New York City. If you don't, my God, you see this all the time. But it just hit me like, am I behaving correctly?
Right,
Am I going to say the
exactly.
wrong thing? I
Yep.
know I might say Mister by accident.
Yeah.
Because the makeup was a little not right yet.
Right.
It seems like he's still. See, I just said it. She's
Yeah,
trying to figure it all out, and I'm panicking, and I'm buying stuff I don't even want to buy.
I know. Intent is gone. Intent is out. You have good intentions. You're just trying to figure it out. You're trying not to get in trouble. But intent is out. It's all about what you say.
No, you're supposed to accept it immediately.
Right.
Or you're a hateful person. And I'm here to say, no. Just give us a little more time.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But most of us will get there.
Right. You're tolerant of them. Be tolerant of me.
Right.
How about you show me a little tolerance?
Because with Caitlyn Jenner,
yeah.
I say Bruce all the time. And they're like, that's an insult to Caitlyn. I'm
Right.
like, that's how I know that person.
You grew up with Bruce.
I grew up with Bruce Jenner, the Olympic champion on the Wheaties box and
Right.
all that.
Caitlyn was not on the Wheaties box. Caitlyn didn't do these things. Bruce did those things. So if we're going to talk about what happens today, you talk about Caitlyn, but the history of this is that person.
And if his own kids call him dad,
Oh,
then
do
why
they?
can't I say Bruce?
Oh, that's interesting.
Right? So that means you're insulting the person.
Right,
You're-
right.
You have hate, and I'm like, oh my God.
But
no.
there's people listening to this going, oh, these fucking assholes, they're so insensitive. And it's like, we're just people too. Why are you yelling at us? It's almost like they put us on this pedestal, like, you should know, you should be good. Well, then you should be good.
Yeah.
Give us some give, you know?
Yeah,
well,
of
I think
course.
the intolerance is immature, right? I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was watching a conversation with these overly judgy people, right? It's like having a conversation with a 20-year-old college student at an art school.
Yeah.
And I went to an art school, so I know what that's like, the performing types, where they know everything because they've just come out of a Meisner acting class, so they know how to do all this emotion, and they're in touch with themselves, and fuck it, you better too, because I get it instantly.
Yeah.
It's immature because you're going to change your opinion by the time you're 40 years old and you've lived a little bit. So we need that beat.
We need that beat. We need a little breath or two. Before you got here today, Mark, I was looking at some old stuff, and the day I knew I loved you for real. Do you remember the swimsuit model?
Oh,
video?
yeah.
So Nina Agdal, who's now huge.
But she gained weight?
No, I mean,
famous.
She came in for the swimsuit issue. This is about 2 or 3 years ago. And that was when the world was introduced to Ashley Graham, who's now massively huge.
Yes.
And massive.
Yes.
And we're all going through this dog and pony show on my old radio show, and Nina's there going, look how beautiful she looks. And we're all like looking around the room like we don't know how to break it to this one. And then Mark just went all in. And it was more, the jokes were there, by the way, but the honesty I love.
It comes back to everything I've been saying.
I love, because it's like, look, not every guy is going to find a fat woman in a bikini sexy. I'm sorry.
Right. And that's not my fault. I'm sorry. This is how I'm wired. If you like a gay guy, if you're attracted to men, why can't I be attracted to thin women?
Right.
You're attracted to what you're attracted to.
But not every thin woman in a bikini is attractive either, by the way.
Of course, yeah.
Hey, Greg brought along a clip from his old job, the one he was fired from. The one that sounds like they're in an actual broadcasting facility and not in a spare broom closet. And for the record, I wouldn't kick Ashley Graham out of my pantry. I'd give her the all-you-can-eat plan.
I think they're going to have a few bigger girls in this issue, too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Fun, really
Really?
nice. Bigger girls.
Like a Latifah?
Just showing that,
No, Ashley Graham is in there.
Who?
Ashley Graham.
Oh, she's a real pig. I don't know who that is. I'm joking. But he said bigger girls. Who?
I'm going to not comment on that.
I don't know who that is.
I don't think she took that one well.
Look her up. She's hot.
You said bigger girls.
No, not Ashley Green. Ashley Graham.
Graham.
That Graham.
No, not
Grainham?
Graham.
She's a real pig.
She's a fucking heifer.
No, come on, you guys.
Bovine whore.
Nina's not having it. Let me,
Oh, yeah.
all right,
Look
let me
at
take
that.
a look at this.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Oh, that's a
Alright.
full-figured
She's
gal.
hot.
She's a bit on the big side, but
She's nice.
All right.
That's a little
She's nice.
jiggly for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can tell when you slap it. It rolls for a week.
Stop it. Wait, I can't with you guys.
I'm joking. I'd love to eat her out.
My mom's calling me.
All right. So I mean, but
Good for her.
you don't want every
goddammit.
guy. You don't want every guy going. Yeah, that's that's great.
But see, I don't. What bothers me is, all right, we all have to accept this. Hey, she's hot. Yeah. But if a guy who's 5'4" comes in, everybody makes fun of him. You know, we got to have it both ways. How come the 5'4" guy can't get any love? All right. Well, thanks for the support, fellas. Just saying. All right, so we got chunky gals. We got to high five her, but how about the bald guy? Nothing?
Bald guys. Telly Savalas, Yul Brynner, Michael Jordan, Lex Luthor. We do all right. Back to you, Greggy Poo.
But you let it out, and Nina's like, she just wants to leave, and you just went all in, and then there was an older woman.
Oh, I just want to start a show called Which One Is It? You
Right.
know, like, so you say big is beautiful. So why do you go to the gym every day? You know, and how come if a guy loses weight, we throw him a party? I
Right.
thought it was beautiful. Shouldn't
Right.
we shame him for
Right.
losing weight?
Right.
Like, what if you did that with any other group? Hey, I used to be Jewish, and I got converted. We'd never go, congratulations, you
Right.
look amazing. You were gross before.
Well, the problem with our society these days, once again, is black or white. There's a lot of middle ground.
A lot of
man.
nuance.
There's a lot of big gals that could be sexy and,
Of course.
and are sexy.
Yes.
But then, you put a big girl in a swimsuit issue, and we're all immediately supposed to think that's the most amazing, sexiest thing we've ever seen in our lives.
Yeah, see,
It doesn't work that way.
the problem is you can talk all day, but it's still about what's in you.
Right.
You know, like you can go, well, Christina, Kirstie Alley is gorgeous. And you're like, I don't think she's gorgeous. Well, she's gorgeous. And you're like, I'm sorry. It's in there. Like, that's
Yeah.
who I am. You
Yeah.
can't change that. Women always talk about how hard they have it, and women do have it hard, but blame biology. You
Right.
got pregnant. You have a menstruation. You got hormones. It's like, someone fucked you. It wasn't me. God fucked you. So get mad at biology. Like, so shoot the messenger.
Exactly.
That's
right.
I'm all worked up.
And I wanted to go back in time with you, but we went off on a tangent.
See,
there.
you're good at this. You're a good
Oh, thank
radio
you,
host.
Mark Norman.
You
I
get me-
appreciate that.
You get me going.
Well, that's good. But that's where you get the good stuff.
By the way, I think that Outrage Fire is a great title for your next special.
Oh, did I say that?
Several times.
Oh,
Yeah.
Outrage Fire.
Yeah.
All right,
All
we'll
right.
write it down and we'll put it on a piece of paper for you, Mark, if you want to take that suggestion.
Good. My old was Dumpster Fire, so that's better.
But Mark has a really good story. You grew up in New Orleans.
Yep.
I remember you talking about living in basically a mansion that wasn't so nice on the inside.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell everyone what I remember about Mark Norman. And it got broke into a lot
Oh,
because
yeah.
people just assumed that this mansion must have great stuff inside.
Yeah.
Right?
And nothing.
Nothing.
We had nothing. It was dilapidated. The paint was coming off the walls. We had mice. Some rooms didn't have electricity. We had those like mechanics lamps hanging up. We also had a transgender nanny named Enos, who was this big black guy who took care of us. And at night he would do burlesque with like high heels on and shit. And he eventually got killed because some guy was hooking up with him, saw the dick, and he killed him.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
you never
New
told
Orleans.
that story.
Oh yeah, New Orleans is a wild, lawless place. Like I grew up in a rough black neighborhood in a mansion.
Yeah.
And so whenever people are like, "Hey, you don't know anything about minorities?" I'm like, "What are you kidding? They beat the shit out of me." Like,
Right.
I've been hanging out with them. I've been in contact with them since I was 2. So it was just a weird upbringing. So then eventually my parents ran out of money trying to keep the place afloat, and they had to turn the back of it into an Airbnb. And so now we got like Chinese businessmen eating breakfast with us, dancing women, bands and shit. So it's just a weird way to grow up.
We're similar. So
Oh, yeah?
I grew up in a big house on Long Island. My dad had money at one time, and then, long story short, not so much. And then the kids, 1 of 7 kids, were all moving out. They still need to pay their bills, so they start getting tenants.
Oh.
And everything from my brother's bikes getting stolen for drug money when they were just 12, 13, wondering where their brand new 10 speeds went. My brother, way too young to find one of the tenants in the woods ODing.
Oh, wow.
What else? My mom looking at her spoons and wondering why they all had burn marks, like the little Mickey Mouse spoon from Disney.
Yeah.
That was a little souvenir spoon. All of a sudden had a burn mark in the middle.
How about that?
And we're all like, someone's doing drugs and the heroin in the fucking house, Mom. Jesus. And then my room that I grew up in, I finally, one of the tenants moved out. I was, and I'm going down memory lane. I go back to my old room. There's burn marks all over the rug.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Look
all
at
shit
that.
like that. And then their last tenant, this is the best. Last tenant, who was a really, really nice guy. My dad dies in a car accident outside the house I grew up in. Since I was 5 years old, we had this house in the family forever. My mom still lived there by herself with her last tenant. It comes down to this guy, right? She's already lonely and sad, lost my dad, right? Most of us are pretty much living our lives. We don't get to come around as much as we should. Anyway, the Suffolk County Police knock on the door.
Uh-oh.
And they go, "Do you know so-and-so?" And my mom goes, "Yeah, he's my tenant. He lives upstairs." And the police officers go, "Well, he's not going to be coming back." What happened? Turns out he freaking puts his car on the train tracks in Greenlawn. I'm going real local with this. And took his own life.
Whoa.
And left a note on the windshield where he lived and all. And then I guess when they went to his room, they found the suicide note.
Whoa, that's how he went? By train?
By train.
Wow.
He was a good guy, too, man, but obviously had demons.
Yeah, but I mean, what a way you could shoot yourself, take pills, anything but a train. That is old school.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah. Good for him. I mean, I respect that.
And going back, so
That's brave.
Yeah.
yeah,
There
well,
you go.
And the one that isn't brave is drowning.
I don't know how you do that.
You fucking put some heavy shit on your feet and jump in.
That-
What do you
you
mean?
don't-
How do you do it?
You don't think that's brave?
Well, I guess it's brave, but I guess What am I trying
Like
to say?
jumping off a bridge?
Well,
That takes guts.
Well,
Yeah.
the jumping off the bridge is a pretty amazing thing because you might survive that, and then you
That's
have a
true.
great story to tell for a long time.
Yeah.
No, what I mean is I can't imagine if you're going to kill yourself. That's what I meant to say. You try drowning yourself. That's got to be insane.
Yeah.
Because somewhere in there you're thinking, why am I doing this?
Yes.
And now there's no turning back. With
Yes.
some of these other things, there's turning back, right?
The only thing more brave is the guy who lights himself on fire.
Yes.
That guy's nuts.
Yes. That is
Because that takes a while.
Yeah.
And you feel
you
it.
feel every inch of it.
Yeah.
I talked to a suicide survivor. He jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. And I asked a simple question. I'm like, What were you thinking as soon as you jumped? Know what he said? I don't want to do this.
Is that right?
Immediately.
Interesting.
And I say it again because I know there's people out there that think about this shit. And the guy that jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge, his thought as soon as he jumped was, I don't want to die.
Wow.
And he's one of the lucky ones. He did survive.
Is he fucked up?
No, he did all right. It was a documentary that I saw about the Golden Gate Bridge.
The bridge.
The bridge, yeah.
I've seen it, yeah.
So I talked to the guy that survived.
Oh, wow.
That's a million years ago. But so now I got to go back again because I'm a parent, and we are so paranoid who watches our kids.
Uh-huh.
And your parents had a tranny.
Yeah.
That did burlesque at night watching you guys. That's
Big-
amazing to me. Was he a nice person?
Very nice.
I would assume he was.
Yeah, big black guy. He looked like Ving Rhames, but he had a big wig on.
Right.
And he wore high heels and would sweep up, and he taught me how to fight. He taught me how to kiss. He taught me how to, like, treat a lady and go on a date and everything.
How did he teach you to kiss?
Well, we didn't touch each other or anything, but he was just like, kissing on the hand. But he was like, you got to do this with a girl and open the door, and then you got to put the seat back down. And all, my parents were like workaholics, and this just shows how much they don't give a shit about the kids. I mean, they care about us, but they weren't really worried about us.
Yeah.
They're letting this guy, who's like a drug addict, crackhead burlesque guy, take care of us. And my parents were here 2 days ago. My mom was on the subway. A guy starts jerking off. She got up and just went to another seat. Most women from New Orleans would have been like, oh my God. And that's how hard it is to get a fucking reaction out of my parents.
Yeah,
by the
no
way.
kidding.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying that as a 6-year-old when you're trying to be a funny kid.
Right.
Just getting stone-faced from this.
Now, did he bring you around New Orleans? Did you see some seedy shit?
A little bit, yeah, but I don't know if I've told you this story. So, lived in a bad neighborhood. I'm riding home from summer camp on my bicycle. 3 guys come up, like 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids. I'm probably, 9 or 10. And they go, hey, give me your bike. And I go, it's my only bike. And then they're getting all in my face. So I go, all right. They take the bike. I come home. I tell Enos, and he goes, fuck that. We're getting that bike back. I'm like, these kids are 18. They're tough. They're street kids. Like, the bike's gone. He's like, fuck it. Get in the van. So, all right, we get into my dad's big panel van, and he closes the door. We drive around the neighborhood for a couple hours. We find the kid on a stoop, fucking with the bike, taking it apart. And I go, that's the bike. And I'm just slunched down in shotgun, like, oh, my God, I'm in a van with a trans guy with a wig on who's going to go confront these 4 or 5 street toughs.
Yeah.
So he just walks up, and, this is the ghetto. So they immediately go, look at this faggot. Oh, my God, they're going nuts. He's walking towards me like they're hooting and hollering, just like, look at this fucking homo. He's got high heels on. This is a weird thing to see in broad daylight.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's not your bike. And they go, fuck you, it's my bike or whatever. And he goes, I'm taking that bike. And they go, hey, you take the bike. It's going to get ugly. And he just looks them in the eye, grabs the bike, pulls it out of the kid's hands, puts it over his shoulder, slides the van door open, throws it in, slides it closed, and we go home.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it was the toughest guy I've ever met was in a fucking wig.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah, you got to be tough, I guess.
Especially in New Orleans like that. You have to be able to fight, I would assume.
Yeah, but also he was probably like 38, and these are teenagers, so maybe back, at that age, you're like, I could fuck these kids up.
I just can't imagine growing up in New Orleans.
It was wild, man. I lost my virginity to a prostitute. I mean, just the open container, drinking and driving.
And your parents were okay with all that? Well, I mean,
they just weren't around. They didn't care.
That's insane.
We were feral. We just ran around.
And this is all before the hurricane, right?
Yeah. That was 05, so this is like early or late 90s.
So how did you survive that, Mark?
I had a lot of friends die.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why do you think you were one of the lucky ones?
Well, the city, I caught on early that New Orleans is so fun, but it has it's like a dad that it sells weed but doesn't drive you to school.
Yeah.
So once you realize that, like, yeah, you'll get some good Molly, but you're not going to eat a vegetable. You got to really figure that out. Like, I got to get out of here. So everybody who made it in New Orleans leaves.
Right.
You got to get out. It's a jazz town. It's a performing town, but you got to leave or you're just going to start a bar and drink yourself to death.
So the whole time you're counting down until you're about 18 where you could move on and do your thing, right?
Exactly. But the first of all, I didn't know what my thing was. And secondly, I had such low self-esteem that I'm like, oh, I love George Carlin, but I could never do that. I mean, like being a comic is like being an astronaut.
Right.
But the desperation gets so bad that you go, fuck it, I'll try it.
Right.
And I moved to New York and it was hell. I got mugged a couple times. I got bed bugs. Landlord died of AIDS. The whole thing. And
that's 5 minutes on each one of those things.
I know.
That's how many stories this guy's got.
It was brutal, man.
But George Carlin was my favorite.
Yeah, oh yeah, he was my
up.
hero.
And did you start doing stand-up in New Orleans?
I did, but there's so
no
little.
scene, right?
There's no scene, and you can get up once a week, maybe, and
So
I would
you-
drive to Lafayette and Baton Rouge and whatever.
So you came to New York with not much experience at that point?
No, 8 months of doing well in New Orleans, like well enough, but then you come here and I bombed for 3 years straight.
And did you know anyone up here?
I moved up with a guy, so we knew each other.
Was he a comic?
Yeah. We lived together in Crown Heights.
Right.
And I moved here with $400.
$400
Yeah.
and a dream.
And a dream. I
To be
remember
a stand-up.
I signed the lease.
What year was this?
07. I signed the lease on loose leaf, I remember. The guy just wrote it out like, oh, yeah, we'll just have you move in. Here we go. And just signed it out on a piece of paper.
Only 07.
Yeah.
That's not that long ago, man.
It's 12 years
I feel
almost.
like I've known you the whole time then.
Yeah,
so
pretty close.
$400 and you move into Crown Heights, and then just like your childhood home, that was getting broken into. There's a theme with you because I heard you also got burglarized in the West Village.
Oh, that's right.
In your
yeah.
nice apartment.
I know. I finally make it to the West Village and I get fucking broken into. Crazy.
How did they get in?
The guy, he must have been on PCP or something because I have these heavy old metal windows, it's some bitch to get up. He was outside on the fire escape, hanging off the fire escape, and just used the glass on his palm, to get some friction, and he got in.
Wow.
The window wasn't locked, but it's still a heavy window. I have a lip to grab onto. He had no lip, so he had to use his palms like that. I can't believe he got in.
What did he get? Sorry.
No, it's all right.
I asked because it goes back to the other thing, because the last time I talked to you, you had a beautiful apartment in the West Village with no furniture. I would assume you finally got some stuff.
I did. I got some stuff. I got
Okay.
pictures on the wall. I got a flat screen. I got an iPad, and, the whole thing.
Right.
And he got in, and I have a drawer next to my bed, which is where the window is. So he had to walk on my bed, which is always very bothersome, just knowing a guy was on your bed. But there's a drawer next to my bed, and I just kept about $6,000 in cash in it, just for fun. I just like to, I got a cash in there. I got some drugs, some mushrooms, a passport, a knife. Like a cool guy drawer.
A gun.
Yeah, no gun, but
Panties.
panties, a couple condoms, some Molly, whatever it is. I just keep it all in one drawer, and it's just fun to look at it. Brass knuckles, yeah, and it's fun to look at every now and then. Just go, oh yeah, look at that cool guy drawer, and then I close it, and every now and then you get a haircut, you take out a 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just opened. That was the first drawer he opened, I think, and he got all that money and got the hell out. No, didn't touch the electronics or anything. I know.
Sorry to hear.
They caught the guy.
Yeah?
A couple weeks later, but what are you gonna do? The cash is gone.
Well, they caught him doing. How did they know it was the guy that?
They got one fingerprint off the drawer, and that fingerprint matched.
When they got him for something else.
Yeah, they got him in Chelsea on another robbery. Somebody walked in on him or something.
Wow.
Yeah, he was 54-year-old black guy.
Really?
54. This guy, black don't crack.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And you live off the street too, so that was like that sucks.
Yeah, it's crazy. My neighbor said he's been there 20-something years, never had a break-in.
Right. Yeah, you're in a nice area. So. But robbery follows you.
Yeah.
Childhood home, Crown Heights. You were getting robbed a lot.
It's so true. I was with my girl. She's crying, like, "Oh my God, I feel violent." I'm like, I'm just flipping the channels. Like, this is normal.
It was normal for you.
Yeah, it was a little bit of like, this is a bummer because it's like a childhood thing, but I'm used to it.
Right. And you said girlfriend in there.
Yeah.
Just before the podcast, I asked you about that. So you're settling down a little bit?
A little. I'm going to therapy, and I'm trying it out, and it's hard, and it's a struggle every day, but this is what normal people do, right?
Well, you had a long-term girlfriend.
Yeah.
Was that in New York?
Half of it was.
Okay. Because you were pretty settled, and then I guess she caught you cheating, which is a funny story in its own right.
Right. I'm all stories. I'm a guinea pig. My life is
well,
just...
that's why your podcast is called Tuesday with Stories. I mean,
just...
you better have stories.
Yeah, I just throw myself into shit, and it sometimes goes well, and sometimes it
doesn't. Can you do the cheating story one more time?
Yeah, sure. So I was banging this gal on the side. Real whore. She was one of these girls who liked guys with boyfriends. That was her thing. And so the girlfriend was always suspicious. And then one day, iPhones were still pretty new. I was taking a shower. Phone was on the table. Phone lights up. No passcode. And it just says, "Hey, why don't you come over and fuck me or something filthy. So my girl's like, what the hell is this? And she sent a naked photo. And then my girl's like, oh my God. So then she read the text from before, and it was just like, I love when you come in my ass, you fucking let me lick your balls, you dirty whore. And I'm like, yeah, sit on my face, you fat skank, all this shit. Just thread, scrolling through, reading all this shit. So then I'm in the shower just whistling Dixie. She rips the curtain open, I'm soaking wet, and she's like, I'm like, hey, what's shaking? You want to get in here? And she's like, how about this? And just showed me the screen and dropped it in the water, and I was like, oh my God. I jump out, I'm all wet like a shaggy dog in the living room going, well, you don't understand, she's crazy,
Yeah.
So I was red-handed.
I thought you're bummed because you were gonna lose your iPhone too because you dropped it in the shower like that.
I picked that up. Toot sweet.
So then you went single for a long time, and now you're going back into a relationship, huh?
Yeah, I did a good 4 years of gonorrhea and running around on the road and multiple partners. I was fucking like 3 girls in a day. I totally went off the rails, and I was wildly depressed, and I was drinking every night, and I'd wake up at 3 in the afternoon hungover, and then just start Tindering immediately, and I was so hooked, and it was hurting my comedy, it was hurting my health, and so I did it for years, and I had to. That's why I feel like I can settle down now because I got it out.
Well, I knew you during that period.
You did.
You have a good poker face. You were depressed.
Yeah,
And drinking
pretty
too
much.
much?
Well, I was hiding it so well because I'd wake up, you just start day drinking, then
Right.
you go on stage, you're getting laughs,
Right.
and then you go out again that night, and then I would get up early and do your show. So I was keeping myself so in the zone
Right.
that I wouldn't allow. But if I stopped for like 2 seconds on a flight, I would just break down.
Holy, I did not know that
Yeah,
whole time.
yeah, it
You
was
hit
a
it.
mess.
You hit it well.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I was still having fun. Don't
No,
get me
you
wrong.
were always incredibly funny, having fun. I didn't think you had a drinking problem. I was like, he's just a younger guy. He'll figure that shit out. You were in your
Functioning.
late 20s when I met you. Probably you're
Yeah.
probably in your mid 30s at this point. I would assume
35, yeah,
somewhere
you're
around
right.
there. So, I didn't know, but there was just an emptiness and a sadness to it.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you notice on your old show, I would every now and then I would just kind of open up, be like, I can't buy a jacket, I'm a piece of shit. And, like, that would come out a little bit, but I would still tamp it down. But whenever I got alone and had a moment, on the train or whatever, it would.
No, I got a video that I put up on my YouTube channel years ago where I labeled it something like Mark Norman Therapy because you really opened up. And I even told you after the fact, I'm like, dude, more of that shit.
Yeah.
That's the real shit. I mean, you're a really funny guy and all that, but when you open up like that, a lot of people can relate.
I got a lot of feedback.
You showed a lot of vulnerability, man.
Which is not me.
How it goes is this guy, at the time and to this day, obviously, really successful, opening up for Amy Schumer, private jets, making damn good money the point where he finally bought a place in the West Village, but couldn't treat himself to a smoothie.
No.
Couldn't treat himself to a winter coat, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
What else? I'm trying to remember all this stuff.
I just couldn't buy anything. You want a meal, you go, you'll get a $1 slice. What are you gonna? You can't get a burrito. What are you, crazy? That's $10. So I just had this real issue with
But you
money.
you had all the means, but in your mind it was
I
can't
didn't deserve it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of have gotten over that. I almost got a smoothie today, but I still held back. But it's there still. It's in the wiring, but I've gotten over it a little.
And what is therapy teaching you about that?
Just like, hey, come on, you're worth some shit. This is all parental. Your parents fucked you up. You got to realize that. The guy jerks off on the train. They don't care. So I thought they just didn't care about me, or I had no self-worth and all that. So
Right.
You grow up, you learn.
I like going to therapy.
I love it.
I was one of those guys like, if you can't figure this shit out on your own,
Same.
stupid therapy. And
Same.
then I went, I'm like, wow, this isn't bad, man.
Yeah, you get it out. It's like the garbage piles up and you get it out.
And you start understanding a lot.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
And you could kind of move on with your life. It's always there where maybe something will trigger
Yeah.
you a little bit, but
I think it should be mandatory. Everybody should go. Why not? It's like getting a checkup.
Right.
You go to the doctor. Hey, you never know when you got cancer or a tumor or whatever.
Right.
Go. You never know when you're bipolar or paranoid or whatever the hell it is.
mental checkup.
Yeah, why not?
Right. But you're almost buying smoothies?
Almost. I'll get one a month.
For real?
Well, they're like $8 in this city.
Mark.
I'm getting better. I'm at least I'm aware of it. Now I walk past smoothie shop and go, "Don't do it." Oh, you're doing the thing, and then I'm
Right.
having a 12-minute conversation.
Well, you
with
work
myself.
your ass off.
I do. I work a lot. Yeah.
And like you said, you came to New York with $400. You should be proud of yourself. You made something of yourself, and you're well on your way.
Oh, hey, thanks. Yeah.
Did you at least buy? Oh, you did buy a bed because the robber walked across.
I did buy a bed. Yeah.
Because one of the last conversations I had with you was when he bought this West Village place, and you just simply felt guilty about buying
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I just didn't even have a couch.
How's your relationship with your parents these days?
It's good. Now I'm aware, as I say, so I know that they're going to give me no. It's like a bad crowd. That's what my parents feel like. When you talk to them, you feel like you're bombing.
Right.
You know, they just don't care. And they just look right through you. And they do that horrible thing where they ask you a question, and then when you answer it, they don't care. Like, we'll do a little role play.
Yeah.
I'll be my dad. You be me.
Okay.
So, what's your address? Where the hell's that waiter? Is that waiter coming back? I haven't seen him in a while. I gotta get a nice tea. You know,
He stops the eye contact.
yeah, and you're like, well, why'd you ask? Because he thinks asking, he's like, oh, I'll. This is how I show love. I will let him know that I'm interested, but then he's not.
But
you know?
got all the personality in the world. Are they sort of on the spectrum in a way?
I think they're on the spectrum, and I think they got their own shit going on.
Are they
and
highly intelligent? It sounds
They're
like
very intelligent.
It seems like they're very intelligent. Those type of people are missing something else, I feel.
I think you're right. I think
feel.
you're right. Yeah.
What
there's
were
not a
their
lot of
jobs?
love. Both lawyers.
So they're buried in books and
They
thinking
read all day,
yeah.
all night. My mom's face is in a book my whole
and,
life.
And they've seen everything, too.
Right.
So they're desensitized. That's why your mom could easily just move when the guy's jerking off.
Exactly.
By the way, I don't move. I think that shit is the best, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I really do.
Really? I would be a little nervous, I think.
Why?
Well, you don't want to get shot with the jism.
Oh, well, you got to be smart.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to learn how to lead.
Yeah, you slip.
But, you
Left,
know,
right.
when a homeless person is acting up, everyone else runs away, I kind of take a couple steps forward.
Interesting.
I love seeing all that shit. I
You-
try to be careful.
You know, you do the same with radio.
Yes.
When you see a little drama, you lean in.
Well, that's where the good stuff is.
That's where the good stuff is.
It's a scary place to live, but yeah, you're right. You know?
Yeah. We're both therapeutic.
And are your parents proud of the career?
That's funny you ask, because that's what the therapy session was all about yesterday. He
Yeah.
was like, I was yelling and bitching about my parents in therapy, and I'm like, come on, I got a good career, but on tonight's show. And he goes, stop. It's said you're trying to win over your parents with your career. They should just like you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're right. But I don't even think about that. I'm looking at my dad's face going, I've done the garden, you piece of shit.
Right,
you know?
right.
But
give me a goddamn hug. And
yes.
and one tear. I just want to see
Yes.
one tear of you being. I get that shit.
But I should be going, hey, I'm a human.
Well, what do they want for you? If you had to guess,
I think they want me to be happy and they want me to be successful, but they're worried about their shit, and they go, hey, if it happens, great. If it doesn't,
right.
That's life.
Right.
So I don't think they're even thinking about it.
Right.
And that's fine. I've accepted it, and I'm moving on.
Yeah, and the therapy seems to be helping. So.
Oh, it helps, yeah.
And a classic bedwetter, Robert.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
I wanted to surprise you with something
There
today.
we go. I'm surprised.
And
I have no experience with that, but
admits it and talks about it.
Oh, yeah.
Who the fuck would admit that and talk about that?
Well, I mean, it's
but
over.
it was a childhood thing, I assume, right?
14.
Yeah. 14,
All
but
right,
then in
under
college.
21, that counts.
Which is
Yeah.
pretty amazing that I was thinking about this today because I would assume being in New Orleans, you start drinking very early.
Yeah.
So to stop bedwetting at 14 and probably the drinking was getting heavier,
That's true.
pretty amazing.
Well,
That's an accomplishment.
We'll say it stopped every night at 14, but then the blacking out, I'd probably wet the bed once a week.
Yeah, but that's different.
That's a
a
different
whole
thing.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's also New Orleans, so the water
Yeah.
level's already up anyway,
Right.
So there's got to be some biological excuse you could make.
There you go. The levees broke.
Right.
But I peed on a lot of one-night stands. That's a bad
We need
morning.
Mike here for that.
You would get along with Mike.
yeah?
He's into pee play.
Oh, right.
With his now fiance, so maybe we shouldn't talk about it as much.
Whoops. She pees on him. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Both.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man.
In
Both.
the shower, I assume?
Insane stuff, yeah.
I don't get the peeing.
No. What's the bed wedding all about? What does the therapist say about that? what
I
is that?
think some say it's trauma-induced or whatever. Some say it's you trying to subconsciously get attention. But I went to a doctor, and he just said, you sleep too deeply. you don't know how to, you don't feel that trigger of like, I got to pee.
That's all it is.
That's all it is that's what he said. So I tried everything. I had a little button thing that you put on your boxers, and when it felt moisture, it would beep, and I just shorted that fucker out. And I tried pills they gave me. None of it. My dad wouldn't let me have a sip of liquid after 6.
Oh my God.
That was like his move. And so I'm watching my brother chug Kool-Aid at 9 p.m. and I'm just like,
yeah,
I look like an
feeding
iguana.
you salt in a cup.
Yeah. It was
Lining you with those silica gel packets.
The worst were sleepovers where you just stay up all night because you're like, I can't let Bobby and Jeff see me wake up in the morning covered in whiz. I'll be the laughing stock.
But you were brave enough to go to the sleepovers?
Yeah, but I stayed up. Then the next day we're playing kickball at 8 a.m. and I'm like glassy-eyed and tired.
And it just ended one day, or was there something that worked with therapy? Or
I think it just ended. I just grew up. Kind of puberty had something to do, and that kind of cut it off.
Do you think you had PTSD?
I don't know. Maybe.
It's a real thing.
I mean,
PPTSD is
what
what
did I
I
say?
heard.
PPTSD.
That's what
did I
heard.
say
That's
PP?
literally what I heard
That's
you say.
funny.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to be funny there, but
It worked.
No, I got a lot of trauma from my childhood.
Yeah?
And finally my therapist said, yeah, you suffer from PTSD.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I never understood, like, I've always been an athlete my whole life and into sports and working out and stuff, but I can't just work out. I work out really, really hard. And they've done studies that people with PTSD, that's what they do to handle that. For whatever reason.
That makes sense.
So it finally started making sense. And,
Yeah.
to get through that, is therapy. And
Well, that's
I
why
started meditating and all sorts of other.
There you go. That's good too. But
all sorts of things.
that's why the best athletes come from fucked up backgrounds.
Probably because
you
they
know?
could handle those workouts.
Right.
Like my pain threshold when I was working out for sports and stuff, I could, please.
Yeah.
Never really felt it.
Yeah, like look at all the toughest white guys now. They're all from the Russian area.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
all from the Eastern Bloc because
Yeah.
they're all fucking living on farms and fighting bears at 8 years old.
Plus the steroids at 10.
Well,
Oh, is that a thing?
sure, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
well, the toughest sport in the world, UFC. I've talked to many of those guys. They all have fucked up backgrounds.
Oh, really?
And I guess that's how they handle it.
Yeah. There
know?
you go.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they used to be Jewish boxers because Jews went through hell. Now Jews are like, oh, we're going to become a lawyer. Fuck that.
Right, we're not dealing with that crap.
Yeah.
So how's it living with a girl again?
It's okay. I mean, it's all a struggle, but it's okay. Like, it's nice having someone, and sure, I get those moments where you're like, oh, she's out on a business trip, so you're like, I'm in my underwear, I'm farting, I'm
Right.
jerking off. But it's nice having a squeeze and talking to somebody and sleeping next to somebody, and you get that lovey feeling. But it's in and out. I have to like consciously remind myself, like, this is a good thing. This is what people do. You know?
Right.
And then I have fantasies about her blowing some guy and just breaking up with me, and I go, all right, I'm out. But then you go, then you get fantasies where you're scared of getting dumped, and
Right,
you're like,
right.
oh, I can't be alone. So
Oh, almost like it would be a relief if something like that
Yes,
happened.
yes.
So you could. Oh, wow. So you're.
you don't
really,
have that?
Not really. No. I mean, I got the kids and stuff now. I got
Yeah.
all sorts of. I'm just.
You're locked in.
I'm just very happy. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I'm good. Yeah.
That's the goal.
That is the goal, right?
Yeah, I've fantasized like, my life would be more fun if she would just, get kidnapped.
Right.
And then I'm like, no, but if she left, I'd be so sad. So it's always up.
That's all normal stuff.
Is that normal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, you never know.
Absolutely. So,
All right, I feel better.
Yeah. But how long have you guys been together?
Probably like 3 years, 2.5 years.
It's been that long.
Yeah, it flies.
Bro, I haven't seen you in a bit.
Yeah. Well, it's when we were hooking up, I was around your parts, but that was the beginning of it.
Right. Yeah, you weren't really telling anybody.
Yeah, and I still wanted to keep an open.
Because I remember the days we'd run into each other at airports every once in a while, and you'd be very drunk still.
Yes.
Because we would take the first flight out.
Yes.
And you would be bragging, let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I remember that moon tower. That was wild.
The moon tower was awesome, right?
Yeah, that was a great time. That was a great live ep and just a wild romp.
Yeah. So, what else, Mark?
Yeah, we
I
covered
think
a lot.
I think we did great today for the first time on the podcast. Oh, just for but Robert laughed. But you could please, for the podcast audience, the time you slept with a homeless girl in a homeless shelter. That would be a great way to end this.
True story. This is when I was single, fresh single. I just gave my ex the apartment. We lived together. I fucked up. You take it. I'll find a new place. So I'm living off a duffel bag. I'm off couches all over the city, Staten Island, Queens, whatever. So I'm just really living off the grid. I'm going to shows and just asking girls in the audience, like, hey, if anybody wants to let me have sex with them and sleep at their place. And every now and then it would work.
Yeah.
So I met one girl after a show, and she was like a gothy, cuttery kind of looking chick, very black and piercings. Cute. But she was like, yeah, we should get a drink. I was like, yeah, let's get a drink. So we go out for a drink that night, and I tell her, like, look, I'm homeless. And she's like, oh, weird. She's guzzling booze. And eventually she goes, look, I should be honest, I'm homeless too. And I was like, what happened? She's like, well, my boyfriend beat me, and he went to jail, and I can't afford the rent, so now I'm off the street in a women's shelter. I'm like, oh, my God. So we start making out of this bar. It's getting hot and heavy. And cut to us in a cab on the way to the homeless shelter. So we're just making out in the cab. We go way out to Brooklyn, this old building.
Was it scary?
It was terrifying, but again, I'm so hammered.
You're kind of used to that.
And I'm kind of used to it. I'm like, hey,
yeah.
At this point, you're like, hey, let's see what happens. I got nothing to live for.
Right.
I'm broke. I'm gay. I'm on the fucking lam. I got no girlfriend. I'm on the couch. So like, fuck it, let's live. So we get to the homeless shelter. We sneak in. I get there. It's like a basketball court of just women on cots screaming and howling and moaning and crying. I was like, oh, my God, this is wild. I've never been so hard. So then we go up to her room, and it's like 2 cots on the wall with the chains, like prison style. And we just fuck for hours, just hobo sex, crazy boxcar banging. And I wake up, and I'm like, I had that rock bottom moment, like, what am I doing? This is crazy. And I remember I ran out of there, got a cab, and went straight back to my old apartment. And it was like, I begged the girlfriend, like, take me back. I'm in a homeless shelter. This is horrible. I can't live like this. And she just slammed the door in my face.
She did?
Yeah, well, I don't blame her.
Wow.
But that's where I was at. I was just so on the end of my rope. That was bad.
Was that your bottom in a way?
I think it was.
Really?
Yeah, maybe. And after that, I was like, I got to get it together. But there was 3 years of debauchery.
Do you still drink?
I drink, but I mean,
not like you used to.
Not like I used to. And we're getting old, so now I have 2 scotches, and the next day I'm like, I'm hurting.
Right. Well, it's the IPAs.
No, those will get you.
Because you don't realize how much alcohol are in those damn things. When you go out, for me, it's like, I know I can handle 4 beers, whatever. 4 IPAs, I'm not on the floor, but I'm way drunker,
You're
man.
Drunk, and it's like a lot of. What do you call that?
I'm not
shit?
a fan, to be honest with you.
I'm not either.
It's too hoppy or whatever,
Yes.
bitter or whatever.
It's too bitter.
It's for the kids, I guess, because I don't get it.
It's
I
thick
tried.
and malty and hoppy, and the hangover is worse because it's a lot of sugar in there, a lot of grain, and all that shit. So I just stick with liquor.
I like tequila.
I love tequila.
I like tequila and fruity beers. I have no problem admitting it.
What, like a Blue Moon?
Oh, God, I go way fruitier.
Oh, really?
Grapefruit beers.
Oh, those aren't bad.
Thank you.
I would never order one in public, but I have one every now and then. I go, this is refreshing.
Know when my wife realized she truly loved me? I go on vacation with them to the Outer Banks, right?
Uh-huh.
Blue-collar family from Philly, all union
I've met
guys.
half of them.
You know them all.
Yeah.
I don't have to explain it to you, but maybe for the podcast audience, all hardcore blue-collar guys. And we're at Outer Banks. We're out for dinner, and it's like Miller Lite, Schlitz, Old Milwaukee, and how it goes. My wife even orders like some, grandpa beer. Then it's mine, and I'm seeing all these wonderful drinks on the menu, and I go, I'll have a bikini teeny.
Oh, that's a bad
right
name.
in front of everybody.
Well, that's
and
a field day.
I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I had more than one mark.
There you go. Well, live your life, goddammit.
But to this day, they'll still bring it up. But,
it's old bikini teeny Opie over here.
But they knew that, I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that's what my wife likes about me, that I don't give a fuck.
That's good. And deep down, those mooks, they kill for one of those things.
Yes.
They just can't be happy.
Well, to your point, you want to order a grapefruit beer, but you're not going to do it in front of a bunch of people. I'm like, I have no flavor.
Yeah, good for you.
Oh, if you want to throw some fruit on top, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. There's a couple shock top. There's a couple orange beers.
The shock tops are nice.
That's good. I like all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm with you.
But I'm moving back toward pot.
Pot's the way to go.
Have you been a pothead?
I'm not a pothead because I have the bad anxiety, so I smoke, and I think this guy hates me goes through the roof. But it's a better better hangover. It doesn't fuck your body up. You don't feel it the next day. So
It helps anxiety and depression, they're starting to say, too.
I guess, but mine goes the other way. I go in my head. I go, you suck. You're a piece of shit. What do you do with your life? You're not funny. So I have to like watch it.
Why do you comics all have that?
I don't know, but that's why we're comics. It's a catch-22.
So after your set on Jimmy Fallon, you crushed it on Fallon. Even
Yeah.
he said, I remember, he goes, you just hit a home run, my friend, or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
In that moment, are you thinking, no anxiety, you're feeling good about
Yes.
yourself,
You
or
get-
already are you thinking about what am I going to do next?
You get 10 minutes of like euphoria. Oh my God, I hit it out of the park. What a great feeling. That's on TV. Everybody's going to see it. And then you start going, should have said that. That wasn't great. I missed that word. Oh, I looked fat. I hate myself. My parents aren't going to watch it. You just start, my brain puts out all the good fires. They just come in and go, nah, you can't be happy.
Right.
I just went on a ski trip with Bert Kreischer, all these fun guys.
I follow you on all your shit.
And
that looked like a great time,
It was
by the way.
amazing. We did mushrooms and we smoked weed.
Yeah.
We drank in the hot tub. We skied all day and partied all night. And we did shows. They're all sold out. Everything was great. But I had a moment in the hot tub. I'm holding a beer, sitting next to these hilarious, great comics, friends of mine, and I just go, "This is amazing! What a great moment! I've worked so hard for this. I think that guy hates me. I think he hates me." And I went through the whole trip thinking he hated me, and I didn't enjoy a second of it.
Who was it?
I don't want to say his name, but it doesn't even matter. It's just my brain picked a guy and just went, I don't think he likes you.
And that fucked up your whole time.
I did mushrooms. I had a bad trip. I'm laying in bed going, they don't like me. At one point, I saw them all laughing around a table, and I was like, I should go join them. And I'm like, nah, they don't want me to join. So I just sat in the other room alone on shroom. That's where I'm at, man. It sucks.
No, but you're getting there.
I'm getting better, and I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
So that helps, because I sit there and go, this is just your brain being a douche.
Right.
They don't actually hate you. Nobody hates you. Don't
Right.
worry about it, but
Right.
it's still there.
It's called Impostor Syndrome, if you want to do some research.
Is that right?
Yeah, where that one person could say something about you, and you're like, see, I knew I was a fucking fraud. And you'll ignore all the good shit that people say about you.
I definitely have that.
Most people do, and most people
Okay.
in entertainment do.
Yeah.
That's why they'll see 100 reviews saying how great the set was, or in your case, and then there's one asshole. You'll fucking gravitate toward the asshole.
Yes.
Because it's something called imposter syndrome. Like,
Wow.
that guy knows.
Right.
He's saying exactly what I think in my head when I'm alone.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon. You might want to talk about that with your therapy.
I think I will.
Therapist, I should say. But you think you'll ever be happy? No, and I ask this because I worry about you comics, because it seems like you guys are always hustling and chasing, and you think you'll ever get to a point where you will be satisfied, whether it's a good set in Cleveland, Ohio, or another set on Jimmy Fallon where you're like, man, this is fucking great. I'm in a good place. What will it take, you think?
I don't know. I get glimpses of it here and there, and I think that's the way to live. You want your life, because we're so obsessed with happiness that we want this constant happiness, but that will make you unhappy.
Right.
It's you have to have the up and down. So we forget that. When you are sad, you should sit in it
Yes.
and like absorb it and go, this sucks. I hate this feeling.
Right.
It's a bummer, but it's all part of it, because then you're going to get out of it and you're going to feel good. Then you're going to go back. It has to be, they got to have the salty sweet.
It's a roller coaster ride, so you got to understand that, because most people, when they're sad, they're like, my life fucking sucks, and instead of just hanging in, holding on tight, realizing, you're going to go back up and be happy again.
Yeah,
you have to.
That's how life works, and people just want the constant happy, and that will make you unhappy, ironically.
It's balance.
It's balance.
I had to learn that the hard way, because my whole life revolved around that damn radio show.
Right.
And then, it was a blessing in disguise. I didn't want to leave when I was told to leave.
Sure.
But in the end, it gave me time to really reflect and think and balance out my fucking life. Because I obsessed and stressed over doing that damn radio show.
You
know
seem
what I mean?
way more zen, way more even-keeled now than I've ever seen you.
Yeah. Well, the last version of the show, you were a big part of it. I was already heading there. But to your point about, I was going to wrap up, but now we got another thing. Like where you're saying you enjoyed Fallon for 10 minutes and then you start thinking, when you do a radio show like that, oh my God. And we were on top of the fucking mountain with that thing. I didn't enjoy most of it.
Right.
Because right around the corner, you're like, well, what the fuck are we going to do tomorrow?
Exactly.
Like,
it never
we
ends.
would have the most amazing radio show that everyone's talking about, and then then let's say it was afternoon drive. So then
Yeah.
maybe you go out for dinner, a couple drinks, and now you're settling back home in your apartment, 9 or 10 o'clock. Now you're like fucking stress-ridden.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're like, what am I fucking going to do tomorrow? Even though, we had a good staff, and obviously the guys I was doing the radio show with were very talented. So we had it, but it was always in the back of your fucking head.
Of course. And people go, he's got this radio show. He's on the top of the charts. He must be fucking elated. But you're not. You're
No.
freaking out. But the thing is, would it be as good of a show if you weren't?
Right.
So you kind of need a little of that. And that's why people on Xanax, I'm like, I'll never do Xanax because I've done it once. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I have no anxiety. But I also don't have any hustle.
Yeah, the anxiety led to some great comedy.
Exactly.
I understand that too. But with all that said, I'm so much happier doing it this way.
Yeah,
so
you seem
much
happier.
happier. Because now I I'll do a couple podcasts and I'll just fucking chill and enjoy other parts of my life. Then I get
Yes.
back to, and do this. So.
And you got some dough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a few bucks.
Yeah, so, that's really the big worry.
Not as much as I had a couple years
Well.
ago, but I have a few bucks.
Yeah, but the joy of making money is going to be back.
Well, here's the funny part. I don't know how you feel about this. It was never about money with me.
Well, yeah, sure.
I mean, there were times in my life I was broke and was just as happy.
Yeah.
Not just as happy now with a wife and kids. That's a whole nother level. But I'm talking before that. I remember times where I didn't know where I was going to eat. And
Yeah.
I was just as happy, if not happier.
Yeah, it's a freedom to that.
I never got into this to make money.
Yeah,
I was used
same.
to being poor, one of 7 kids, my mom stressing and burning credit cards in the fire because too many people were calling for their money. And my
Right,
dad was just like, literally wanted to live in a van down by the river. No
yeah.
joke. That whole Chris Farley thing, my dad would have been happy doing that. He didn't give a fuck. But the problem was he had 7 kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So he had to care a little bit. But to him, he's like, we'll be just as happy if we don't have money.
Yeah. I mean, poor people are always more interesting.
But that put a lot of stress on me because my mom would would talk about the money issues with me when I was a fucking kid.
Yeah, that's heavy.
A lot of heavy talk. I remember my brother told me recently he would listen in and go and think, why is mom putting all that stress on Gregg about money, man, and where the next groceries are coming from and all that.
Well, that's why if you notice, not to bring it back to the PC bullshit, but most of these social justice cum guzzlers are usually pretty privileged people.
Right.
And they're throwing all this shit at you, and you're like, hey, you don't know what I've seen.
Right.
Like, I've noticed the people who have been grown up poor, or had fucked up childhoods, or had horrible things happen to them tend to have more black friends or more minority friends or more they know what sadness and struggle really is.
Yes.
Whereas these other people have to manufacture some struggle.
Right.
And I think they got to realize that.
Well, they had it easy.
Yeah.
They had their helicopter parents or whatever.
Right.
Protecting them. They never had to worry about shit.
Yeah, and then they
I'm
yelled
talking
at
about
us.
I'm talking about the people that are causing all the problems because there are people out there that have a lot of the same issues we did growing
Right.
up. But the ones that are creating most of this horse shit had an easy life.
I know, and then they're gonna yell at Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart said "fag" in a tweet. It's like, do you really
Who gives a fuck?
Is that really on the top of the charts of things we got to worry about? Are you insane?
Right.
How privileged are you?
Right.
Yeah. So
Are you worried about where comedy's going?
I am, but I talked to Colin Quinn the other night, and he's the comedy whatever godfather. So
The
he's
guru.
Yeah, he's the genius guy. So he said eventually it's gonna be just 2 camps, and you got to pick your camp. You're going to be I'll be the offended, say whatever I want camp, or I'm going to be in the squeaky, you can't say shit camp. And I go, all right, I guess I'll be in the other one.
Yeah.
Because I can't, that's the whole reason. He puts it well. He goes, oh, yeah, I got into comedy to be accepted by the mainstream. No, you got into it to push buttons and go the other way. It's punk rock.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So I got to go the other camp.
That's really interesting because I've lived long enough to remember when the comics sort of had each other's backs. You always had some asshole, let's be honest, in every profession. But in general, you guys stuck together.
Yes.
And, man, he is right. There is a separation going on right now.
Yeah, but, I mean, I'll tell you, maybe I'm an old-fashioned douche, but you go to Cleveland, you go to Texas, you go to whatever, Phoenix, they want jokes. They want comedy. They don't want to be berated about their privileges and what the president is doing. They just want they want to be entertained. These are people.
Yeah.
So
they want that outlet.
Yeah, we don't want to be preached at and yelled at and hey, you got to get it together and be nice to these people and use these pronouns. They're like, what? I worked 8 hours a day at a factory. Just tell me a fucking Jew joke.
Yeah, just make me laugh.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. Something's got to come to a head, but I don't think it ever will.
Oh, my God. I was going to end, but I got to mention this just because it's good for you.
Yeah.
So my old friend Bill Burr was on the podcast. And on the podcast and then off the podcast even more, I apologize. I probably should have got more of this on the podcast.
No. Hey.
He was praising you like
oh, well, that means a lot because he's one of the greats.
Basically saying you're the next guy.
I don't know about that.
No, he basically saying as far as guys coming up and guys to look out. I'm not. You're more than coming up. You know that. But
yeah.
But he's talking about the next set of guys coming up to look. That Mark Norman. He said.
Wow.
That Mark Norman is a fucking funny bastard.
Well, I'm honored. I mean, he's one of the greats, and he put me on the Patrice O'Neal benefit, which is a huge honor for me.
Right.
Patrice is one of my favorite, maybe one of the best. And I can't thank Bill enough. And just the fact that he knows who I am is insane. And he let me open for him at some club, and I did well. And we got to exchange numbers, which I'm jizzing the whole time, just going, oh yeah, I'm trying to act cool.
Yeah.
And we got drunk and rode the train back, and we texted each other. At like 4 a.m, we got home, and I'm in bed with my girl next to me. She's sleeping. I'm drunk. The room's spinning, and he's texting me. I'm getting texts from Bill Burr, which is so insane. And I'm going to try not to come off too hokey and geek out here, but he's like, hey, man, really great stuff. Yeah, if you keep writing like that, you're going to be whatever. And I just wrote back like, are you kidding? I know everything you've ever done. I can quote all your bits, you piece of shit. I did one of these like way too long texts, and he didn't write. He wrote back like thanks, and I was like, ah,
you blew it.
Yeah, I blew it. I went too far. I blew my wad on the guy, and he was like, easy, creep. Well, back off, there, clingy. So it was that's another moment where I ruined, but it meant the world to me, and just the fact that I have his phone number and I can shake his hand is
You
insane.
didn't ruin anything. And it's funny you should say that because my wife will calm me down. Like every once in a while, a big name will follow me on Twitter or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, so and so's following me, and I want to tweet the person. I want to DM them immediately.
Yes.
And she's like, we just chill the fuck out and be cool. Man.
I know. I'm not cool. I'm not cool. I geeked out.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
But it's relatable.
Mark, I should have got you on a long time ago, but we have reconnected. Next time we're going to go to Get Parts. We're going to have beers with the guys, and we're going to just fucking be silly, get drunk.
I love it.
Do all that horse shit, but I wanted to sit down and just have like one of these.
Yeah, this is great.
To get it started. But I know about the podcast Tuesdays with Stories with Joe List. You guys are crushing it.
It's going places. We've been doing some live shows, and we've had some good people on. We sell out the Village Underground.
I know you do. You guys, do a very good job. What else you want to promote?
My website. I'm coming to every goddamn city in this goddamn country. MarkNormanComedy.com.
Right.
Twitter, Instagram, all that. Give me a Google.
You're a good Instagrammer.
Oh, thanks. I take pride in it.
No, your photography's really good.
I hate these guys who take a photo of their shoe and go, hey, I had a nail in my foot. I'm like, that's all you got? The shoe? Come on. Put a little art in there.
I like a lot of your stuff.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Because you take your time.
Yes.
Because I enjoy photography as a hobby. And I appreciate someone else that is like trying to do a little something more than just like, hey, look at me and my stupid selfie and a smoothie that I don't deserve.
There you go. But you got the best sunsets in there.
The
great sun, the fish.
Yeah, but then people make fun of me and my stupid sunsets.
Ah, fuck them.
But I'm taking sunset pictures. I'm drinking grapefruit beer.
It's all envy. They wish they were out there on the beach.
Showing my giant penis by accident.
There you go.
It's all shits and giggles.
I've seen the lump. I've seen the pants, the goblin. Yeah.
Does the traveling get old?
It does, but it's like that old Dom Herrera thing. They pay me to fly. I still love doing the shows. And I like getting away. New York's such a kick in the taint that it's nice to be like, I'm in fucking Portland. This is nice.
Yeah, you get a little break.
You get a little break, and it's the job is different every week, and I love that.
Yeah, right on. All right, my friend Mark Norman. Thank you, Mark.
Here.
I really appreciate it. This was a great fucking episode.
All right, I appreciate you having me.
I love it. We'll do it again. Joey, wrap it up.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah.
Thanks, Gregg, and a great guest. He's going places. Mark Norman. Now leave us a 5-star review at Apple Podcasts. Buy a hat or a shirt at OpieRadio.com. We thank you for your support, and until next episode, with our favorite chef, this is Joey Salvia for the Westwood One Podcast Network's Opie Radio.
From the Westwood One Podcast Network.